Welcome to another episode of RTAF Podcast. Thanks for being here. Today I've got Nate Fyffe on the podcast. Nate is a metalsmith, jewelry fabricator, hand engraver, stone setter. Basically, he makes dope pendants for people to feel like champions when they wear. So I wanted to let you guys know that we do have a YouTube channel now. Obviously, if you're watching this, it's on YouTube. Please subscribe to it. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google Play, pretty much anywhere where you can listen to a podcast, we're on it. We also have, right now, I think I have about 4 RTAF t-shirts available. I've got an XL and I think a couple mediums and one small. So you can find that by going to the link in our bio on our Instagram page at RTAF Podcast. And yeah, just click there and you'll find links to RTAF t-shirts. So without further ado, let's start the show. All right.
Get cozy.
Yeah.
Get settled in there. Let's do it.
Dude. Welcome to RTAF, Nate. Thanks for coming on.
Fucking stoked.
Tell us how you got here.
Can I ask one more question before we start? Can I curse and stuff, or like,
yeah.
Should I like not?
No,
should I not?
Go for it, dude.
All right, cool. I just watched a few.
Yeah.
I just watched a few, and it's like some people seem like they were like kind of like conservative with their language, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of bad at that.
Everybody's style, you know. Everybody's
right, cool.
style is different. You know, some
All right,
people
didn't
are.
interrupt.
No, you're fine.
We can restart.
No, this is it. This is raw, baby.
I love it.
Yeah. So I gave you a little introduction there at the top for the YouTube video and everything, but kind of tell people what you do. Like, what's your art? What's your medium?
I just make custom jewelry. Any kind of motif and kind of theme that people bring to the table, I'd love to be able to take ideas and just bring them into the physical realm and stuff like that, you know? So
Nice.
It can mean a whole multitude of different options between hand fabricating things or digitally designing stuff and all kinds of things like that. It kind of really depends on what someone brings to the table and what they have in mind.
Sure.
And kind of what the final image would be in their heads.
Yeah. So is it all custom, or do you just make things for yourself sometimes, or?
I kind of try to like space it out a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm always designing. So either way, when I'm doing custom work or not, I always have ideas brewing.
Yeah.
But most of the time, to keep the boat afloat and stuff like that, it makes sense to do custom work for people.
Sure.
But every now and then, I need to take a break just mentally and things like that to just get some things out that you have brewing and things like that, you know? So it feels good to just take a couple minutes for yourself, whether it be a week or two or whatever, and then just act out some ideas. And a lot of stuff is so conceptual that it's hard to really know how it'll turn out in the end. Mm-hmm. In my head, it sounds like a certain way, and then once you start putting it on paper or putting it into metal, you're like, all right, this is not gonna fucking work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, or sometimes it does work and it ends up being nice, but
Right.
it's a struggle like anything else.
So there's like 2 levels of translation there, right? You go from what you have in your head to like a design on paper or maybe digitally, and then into like the 3D, like working with materials kind of realm.
Yeah.
Do you find that you lose things sometimes in between those 3 stages, or?
Yeah, things always change.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's one thing I try to like be and try not to get hung up on too much is like my initial idea.
Yeah.
Because as you start to process things as any other medium, you know, things always shift.
Yeah.
And you can't necessarily hold yourself to, you know, like I need this to be exactly like that, because sometimes when you're working on it, it evolves for the better.
Sure, yeah.
Even like, but I guess at the same time it can kind of go the other way too. But
yeah, I think there's like some quote. It goes something like, "Plans never survive like first contact with reality," or something. like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I think it's good to be able to just like flow and work with it, right?
Yeah, some people can. I feel like, I mean, just from like what I see through other people's work and stuff like that, like I feel like some people can kind of get hung up on like, this isn't exactly how I had it designed initially, so it's not how they want it. But
Sure.
I think everything really evolves like throughout the process, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's why I like to try not get too hung up on the initial ideas. It takes a lot of like different iterations to get to that final point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't really know like shit about metalsmithing or fabrication or engraving. Could you maybe explain to me and the audience who might not know either, like what kind of setup you have and the process from like taking an idea to like this really crazy piece of art that people can wear?
Well, so like when I originally started getting into the jewelry world, I did a lot of like mostly straight hand fabrication through sheet metal and stuff. So you're working with different gauges of metal to then make a 3D form. So it can be pretty tricky to then get to the point where it's got the depth and dimension that you really want.
Yeah.
But through the years of learning and stuff, there's a lot of other elements you can bring into the whole equation as far as like carving certain figures from wax. If you carve from wax, then you can cast them into solid metal, and it can just sometimes expedite the process and get you more. I found for me personally that it gets like a lot more flow and just overall depth to the design.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you're working with like flat sheet and stuff, a lot of time it can kind of, at least that's what I think of my like initial work is, it can kind of come out a little flat, like just in overall perspective and stuff.
Yeah.
When I think it's best to try and have like a whole 360 degree of like detail and everything, you know, when it comes down to something that you're wearing on your neck and wearing on your body, regardless of where it is, you know, you're not really set in stone as to how you might be getting a little crazy. You might be you might be chilling, but sometimes it might spin around or, you know, things shift.
Right.
So you want it to be visually appealing from any angle that someone's gonna be looking at it, if it's all cocked on your neck or actually sitting how it should be. But something to keep. I always try to keep in mind at least.
So so you're working with fire, correct?
Fire.
And so you're just basically bending and shaping metal.
Well, when I'm working with sheet metal and things like that, it's kind of a combination because as you work with sheet and stuff, the crystalline structure of these fine metals that we're using and stuff, they can become rigid and hard. So as you introduce heat and things like that, it kind of relaxes stuff so you can continue to work it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different when you're using casted elements and things like that, but all around you kind of have to, everything's a different task, you know, depending on the project at hand. Some things require the heat, some things don't. And you have to kind of take it how it is, like everything that comes to the table.
Nice. So you're usually working with stones and gems, minerals, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one to work with?
Recently I've really been loving like sapphires and spinels just because they're a pretty hardy mineral. They have like a pretty good hardness. They can take a lot of wear and stuff like that. And they also come in like a multitude of colors. Like you can get whole like a lot of like most colors in the rainbow you can get between those two minerals. And you know, certain things you can't really achieve by doing that, but it really depends again on the project and on the amount of wear and like tear someone's going to put on it. It's like rings, obviously someone's wearing on their hands, they're going to be beating that up or cleaning stuff with it and all kinds of stuff, whereas like pendants or earrings, you have way less chance of knocking stuff around, but it really depends on the person.
Yeah, totally. So I guess take us through your story, man. Like what drew you to make jewelry? Like when did it start? I mean, have you had an interest in it since like you were a kid or?
Well, yeah, it's been like a whole roller coaster. Like I've always been really influenced by art and stuff in general. I started off by painting and drawing like a ton, like through high school and all that kind of shit. Like that's pretty much my only mediums, anything by hand and stuff like that. And then obviously as you go through high school, you have guidance counselors and shit. They're like, let's be realistic. Like you're probably not going to be a fucking painter. Like you're probably going to let's do something, maybe aim towards something that make you some money. And I've always had a sense of design and stuff. So I went towards architecture and things like that.
Nice.
So that's something that has always been a really big draw for me. And then once I started looking into stuff, you know, furthering my education, I was like, cool, I'm going to come to Colorado. They've got a good focus on like environmental design and shit like that. And It's like, this is going to be cool.
Dope.
I got out here, started diving in. There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of shit that there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily fully applying myself.
Mm-hmm. Like in college.
Yeah, in college. Like,
sure.
Got out here, I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm
yeah.
free.
Yeah.
And so something like architecture, like, it's so intensive. Like, you have to be 110% like fully dialed in and fully committed. Otherwise, because throughout the whole architecture school, you're building a portfolio to make a name for yourself or get a job after.
So I roomed with a bunch of architecture students in college.
Probably never slept.
And they were the hardest working, hardest partying people.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much fun, but they were hardly ever at the house.
Yeah, it's a balance. So it's like, especially if you're trying to party at the same time, it's like you're partying and then you're not even going home. You're going to go to the studio because you got a bunch of shit to finish for your next evaluation and stuff. So I realized quickly that that's a realm where you need to really be putting in all that, like I said, like all that effort. And if you're not, then you're just digging yourself into a whole debt.
Yeah.
So I shifted gears and was like, all right, I'm not fully focused, so I'm going to go take some community college classes at Front Range.
Nice.
Switched it up. Mm-hmm. Whatever random little holes I needed to fill in my criteria or whatever, schedule or whatever it was. I ended up falling into an elective that was metalworking. And at that point, I was kind of seeing a lot of stuff through like the festival scene and like jam bands and stuff like that. Sure. So I had a bunch of friends that were kind of in the mix of things. So I was seeing stuff like that.
So you're seeing like wire wraps and stuff?
Yeah, wire wraps and like basic fabrication stuff. So I was like, cool, like I'll get a little into this. I'll give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah.
And being that I just like have such a desire, like a passion for design and stuff, the just like putting things on paper and then being able to like manifest it into like a physical thing at the end of it, I found was awesome.
Yeah.
So by the end of like taking this basic intro class, I had my teachers give me a list of all the shit they had, and I was delivering pizzas at the time on in my spare time, doing nothing, like not like living off art in the slightest. And by the end of the semester, I had everything in my basement. And I started snowballing from there. Nice.
Yeah. So what year was this? Like,
this was like 2013, maybe.
Nice.
Like 7 years ago ish.
Word.
And with thankfully I had tools like Facebook and stuff already like accessible to me. So I had certain friends that were in the state and in the area that I could reach out to and be like, how do I do this? Like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And they're like, come over, we'll figure it out. I was like, okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
So a lot of it just snowballed from there. A lot of self-taught things for the first few years for sure, before I kind of realized I was like, all right, I'm going to go full bore with this and see if I can make a living.
And you went to some like pretty cool classes after college, right?
Yeah. So like after doing the Front Range type shit, community college vibe, it was a lot more private instruction and like intensive classes. I took a couple of things that were like, it's usually they usually have like a focus. So some were stone setting driven, some were engraving and things like that. And I was happy to be able to tap into the community of people that were already thriving and doing these things and also trying to expand their own skill sets.
Right.
And I had a few people reach out to me and they were asked like, you want to come to this class? Like, we got an extra spot or da-da-da-da. And it was really cool. Like, I was generally like the youngest person there. Like, I was like, I hardly know any of these guys, but I know their work or like things like that. Right. So it was kind of daunting at first for sure. But I don't know. I kind of try to keep things pretty fucking friendly, so it worked out pretty well.
You're friendly, dude.
Yeah, keep a smile on the face, and just it's always about trying to do new things. So it's always expanding.
So how is like going from like at the beginning of college, like not really knowing what you wanted to do, to finding your art? How has the art changed you? If at all.
It's been a huge just course in discipline.
Yeah.
Because like once you Because initially when I was doing stuff, you know, you have the backbone of like, oh, I still have a 9 to 5. Like, I'm going to still get a paycheck at the end of the week.
Right.
So I can pay my, you know, I know my expenses aren't going to pay my bills.
Yeah.
But when you make that leap from being like, all right, fuck this, like, I'm out.
Right.
I'm just going to do me.
You're your own boss at that point.
And then at that point, like, the social media thing, like Instagram was still, I mean, not super fresh, but like, as far as people making a living through hosting a business online.
Right.
Was still pretty not that it wasn't like a regular thing as it is more so nowadays.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, it was just pretty much just like, all right, let's see what happens. I quit the last job I had. I was working for a special events company, setting up like big wedding tents and like all that kind of shit,
like banquets.
Yeah. Whole thing, crazy stuff like that. And I was like, bailed, told him I was moving back to New York when I was really just going to California for a music festival. Nice. And then yeah, that was it.
Did you ever see those people again? Like,
no, actually, I seen like two of the homies I used to work with at the spot because this is when I was still living in Boulder area. Mm-hmm. I was up in Gun Barrel and still living in the area. I didn't move like once I just made up a lie to quit the job.
Right.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like,
and then so I'd be out in Boulder at a bar, and then all of a sudden I'd bump into one of my buddies I work with. They'd be like, "What? Like, I thought you moved." And I was like, I just came back to visit, or like, you know, depending on who they were, if it was like a boss or something, I'd be like,
just popping in.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of making up some shit. But it ended up like from there, yeah, I haven't had another job since.
Nice.
It's kind of cool.
So you learned how to like manage your time.
Time management, yeah, I'm still learning.
Yeah, I think
it's
we all
hard.
are. Yeah.
I mean, you know, as like a you know, self-driven artist yourself, like nothing's guaranteed.
Right.
Like and you know, you have those good weeks or months or whatever, and you're like, oh, cool, I got this.
Yeah.
And then the next month you're like, fuck, I can't sell anything. I can't make a goddamn dime. I've been working 80 hours a week or whatever the hell you've been doing, and then you're like, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
I'm not getting paid for anything. So it is definitely like a balance.
Yeah. I think that's one way for me personally that that art's changed me. It's like I've chilled out a lot.
Yeah.
About like feeling worried, you know, like where's the next paycheck coming from, but just being like comfortable with not knowing, but knowing that it's coming.
You just got to accept it. And sometimes, it takes longer than other times. I always trying to think of things in like a cyclical motion.
Yeah.
Lower lows, higher highs. And, you know, sometimes that circle's a little bit bigger. Sometimes it's a little smaller. So the highs come around quicker. Sometimes it takes a lot longer to get back up there. Yeah. And it's just like, you got to have some, just like, the right word would be, but like, just confidence in yourself.
Sure.
And that's also another whole different thing in itself.
Yeah. Like, how did you find confidence?
Pretty much if I just like if someone was buying something I made, I was like, fuck yeah. Tight.
Just feeling really
like,
good about
this
it.
works. Like someone else likes it. It's not just me.
Right. Yeah.
So that in itself helps, but then like you're saying, none of it's consistent. So you never know. You never know what's coming along. You never know who you might bump into, or, you know, word of mouth goes a long way these days, especially when you're living off your own art, which I'm sure you can relate to also.
Definitely. Speaking of word of mouth and not knowing who you're going to bump into, you've had like a famous person named Diplo wear one of your rings at the Grammys. Is that right?
Yeah, they it was at the American Music Awards, and then at the Grammys, and then Billie Eilish wore the ring at another event. But nice. That's all entailed to my friend Ryan that runs the Crown Collection. Mm-hmm. Once they've relocated to LA, they were able to tap in with some good people in the scene out there as far as stylists and stuff go. Mm-hmm. So through their interaction, they work with a lot of people in that kind of those circles and stuff, which I'm completely unfamiliar with. But it's great to be able to have friends in your network that are also continually trying to push you and push everyone that you work with and they work with to get to higher points. So I feel honored that people like that even like it enough to put it on, let alone wear it as something that is like notable as like an event like that, you know?
Right. So it wasn't like you sold the ring to them. It was like Crown Collection offered it up to their stylist, and then
so
they were like, "Would you like to wear this for?"
Yeah, they kind of get I mean, as far as I know, I'm not like fully in the loop,
right? Sure,
per se.
Sure.
You're
closer than I am, though.
As far as I know, they work with certain he works with certain stylists and stuff, and he gets to show them all being that Ryan uses a ton of unique jewelry and stuff. It's not as regular as a lot of other stuff that you would necessarily see in an event like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it stands out, which is nice.
Yeah.
Once they see stuff like that, they're kind of like, oh, cool, like this is something different. Like this is something I haven't necessarily seen before. It's not, it's not like a cookie cutter type thing.
Yeah, it's more original.
Yeah.
You think that they feel that vibe?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of, at least friends of mine that are other jewelers try and push for.
Yeah.
Just doing something different and unique that really stands out from the pack as far as like all the run of the mill kind of like copy and paste type designs that a lot of people might wear and stuff that. And I think that's something that's really unique that like Ryan helps bring to the table, because it gives exposure to a lot of these different styles that a lot of people otherwise wouldn't see. They don't know about. But once they see it, they're like, holy shit, like that's crazy.
Right.
And like wait, and then when it comes down to the fact, it's like, you made that, you set all the stones, you designed it, and this, that, and another thing that go into it.
Yeah.
It's even more special because a lot of the jewelry world is so compartmentalized, where like you either just design, or you just set stones, or you just engrave, or you just do this or that.
That's
Whereas
interesting.
A lot of us do the whole thing. And it's different.
I feel like a successful person will resonate with that, because like, like for a while they probably did it all themselves too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure once you reach a certain level, like you compartmentalize things that like aren't as important to like the direct creative process. Yeah. But like knowing that, like I feel like they got to resonate with that.
It's all like a process, like once certain, once you get to a certain level of like having to like put out a certain amount of work and things like that, fulfill orders and all that kind of stuff, obviously you need to bring people on. You can't do it all yourself.
Right.
And you can see, I noticed that with some other companies and artisans that I follow and things like that, Mm-hmm. But I'm still at a pretty introductory level where I'm doing everything. I'm the one-man band, and the only thing I really outsource at this point is like my metal casting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't know how to cast metal, and B, don't have the setup, and C, I don't want to fuck stuff up that I already started. I'm like, all right, this is ready to go. Let's just cast it. I don't want to be like the.
Is that what like when you collaborated with AJ, right?
Yeah.
So did he do the metal casting?
Yeah. Okay. AJ's done a bunch of casting for me in the past like few months and stuff like that, because he has a whole at-home setup. Right. Which is pretty similar to the one I use through my caster downtown in Denver. Mm-hmm. But there's no like lag time. Right. The lag time is like as much as you want to really put it off to cast it. So
sure. So I want to circle back to the like whole Diplo kind of like clout-ish stuff that like goes along with that, like so when he wore the ring or Billie Eilish wore it, like, did you see any like uptick in exposure? Did anybody hit you up for a custom or?
I mean, it really depends. Like the cool thing about social media these days is that like when someone wears something at an event like that, you have all these fucking people there taking pictures. Right. People are taking pictures from whatever fucking outlet it is, and it's all going online, whether it's going onto a website or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Right. It's going up. And I mean, regardless of whether the person wearing it knows who made it or not, the person taking the picture has even less clue. Right. So they're just taking it and posting it. So like something I'll like, I've tried it a couple of times, like go into hashtags when stuff like that is posting, and like trying to let people know if I see a picture with it in it, crediting, outfit or whatever the hell else goes into it.
Right.
Kind of try and chime in and like let it known like I made this ring or
Yeah.
I made this
Yeah.
like. But other than that, I mean, the exposure in itself is great.
Right.
But I don't really. At least it's not something I've really done to this point. Is to try and like dive in and try and pull other things off of it.
Sure.
I don't know if that's like poor marketing in my sense or not, but
I mean, I'm still, even after like about a year and a half of researching marketing and listening to podcasts about it, I still don't know the secret formula.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's just like a whole different medium.
I think you just got to pay for ads, really. Like that's kind of what it comes down to at this point. Mark's over there like, yeah, just pay for an ad, dude.
Something that I like, the way that I always kind of try and think of it as far as like paying for promotion and things like that. It's like, if you're trying to run your business solely through a free platform,
right?
And you don't want, and you think you're gonna feel slighted by like, oh, they're gonna make me pay. It's like,
no,
shut the fuck up.
I don't feel that way.
Just suck it up. Pay a couple bucks.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't just assume you're gonna get free advertising and run a successful business off of it and never have to drop a dime
Right.
on yourself.
There was that little like Goldilocks period though.
Yeah.
Like I think between like 2012 and 2016.
In the beginning, Instagram was great.
Yeah.
You could get followers like crazy, you know, like the way
Yeah.
how the algorithms work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was much more in the favor of, you know, independent artists and stuff.
Sure.
And as that kind of stuff shifts,
Yeah.
you kind of just got to roll with the punches. And
Exactly.
I pay for ads every now and then just because I
I've paid
feel
for
like
ads
you
before,
know,
yeah.
you got to kind of play ball
Yeah, you
to
do.
an extent. I find that if you do it every now and then, it's pretty chill.
Yeah. You don't
But-
want to be like shoving it down people's throats.
Yeah, but if you do it over and over again, it really fucks up your organic reach.
Right.
So when you post something and don't promote it, and no one fucking sees it,
Yeah. Tanks
and
out.
that sucks.
Yeah.
And that feels like very like it hurts sometimes, and you're like, I'm stoked on this. Like I can't wait for people to see this.
Yeah.
And then you post it, and it gets like no interaction.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
What am I? Damn. I thought this was a home run.
Right, I know. It's that's an interesting point too. I know I've talked about this on the podcast before, but sometimes when I make something, I'm like, "Oh, this is the one. This is the motherfucking one." And then you post it and it's like crickets. and then like you like bust something out in a week, you post and everyone's like, "Oh my god, god tier, dude. Holy shit. Fire emoji, gas emoji." You know? It's just I don't exactly know. Like maybe I'm a little biased or something, but it's always nice to have like the public just to like test out like
it's
what's
good to
working,
have that,
you know?
that like reassurance, being like, you're like, I think this is cool. Someone else thinks it's cool. Tight.
Right.
But
It's good when
you
they
get,
match
like,
up.
Yeah, it's nice. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you can't. I see some people that base a lot of their like success off of that kind of thing.
Right.
Like
you
so,
can't,
they're like, I'm only good because people like this. Like I got a bunch of likes, a bunch of people commented on it, whatever the fuck.
right.
And that I don't like that.
I don't either.
It's like either way, it doesn't matter. You could not even fucking post it online. I just try and think like back a little bit before social media was such a driving force. Being an artist, like, you just got to be really stoked with what you're making,
right.
and hope that other people that see it will like it,
or hope that other people see it. Period.
Yeah, period.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you're like, we can post something on Instagram and people see it all across the U.S., over in Europe,
Yeah.
Asia, wherever the fuck, like
Yeah.
fucking Antarctica, like who knows? Like
Right.
the internet's everywhere, you know. You never know where you can tap into people, which is really cool to me. I think that's one of my favorite things about the whole social media driven aspect of things.
Yeah. It's like you were saying, it's pretty much free marketing.
Yeah.
And the
Any
worldwide
other business
thing
is
is
not
just
gonna
crazy.
happen.
Do what?
Any other business, like you're not just gonna get free promotion anywhere.
No.
Like you gotta like it's expensive.
Yeah.
Put an ad in a newspaper, put an ad in a magazine or whatever. It's not cheap.
Bro, I still get like coupons sent to me in the mail that I didn't ask for. Like who does like who is that for? I don't get it, because like there's like Instagram and Facebook. I get it's probably for like older people in general, and like the demographic of my neighborhood is probably a little older than I am.
Yeah, you're in Superior, so right.
But yeah. I'm right next to Dempsey, yeah. So it's like, yeah, I don't know why those businesses aren't just using Instagram, but I digress.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's a battle.
Get this. You guys, Instagram literally created a shop, the Instagram shop.
Yeah.
So that they could get some of the money that you guys are making from your DMs.
Really?
What does that mean?
Okay, so
so
can people hear you?
No, kind of. I mean, I can maybe raise it up a little bit, but like, that's why Instagram has like its shop now, because they get like
I don't even know what you mean.
Percentages that you make off of it. You know what I mean? Because they run it like almost like a credit card.
Yeah.
But imagine like how much money was funneling through Instagram in the early 2000s.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Without PayPal.
You're talking about like the shopping bag click, like when you like do that, when you do that kind of stuff.
But like that stuff didn't
I've never
exist,
done that.
And like that's why Instagram made it, because they're like
we need to monetize this. Yeah.
Exactly.
But
like, we're gonna catch some money off all this traffic, because we see they see all that shit. They know that you're making money off of them. Right. They know that. They know the whole they know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Oh no, they absolutely know what's going on. You know, since we're on the topic, let's just go in. But like, you know that you can request your data from Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I did that for RTAF, and it's literally everything. Wow. It's like everything you've ever liked, everything, every DM, every comment.
No way.
Yeah, like
every comment you've left and DMs that you get.
Yep.
And what is it? How does it break it down? How does it break it down?
It's like it's like very codey. You know, it looks like code, but then if you can read it and understand what's going on. Yeah. Because they also section it up into like likes, stories, you know, all these things.
Like compartmentalized a little bit.
And you can get all your photos that way too. So like if you post a photo and it happens to get deleted from your phone or whatever, you can request data from Instagram and get that photo back.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't either.
I've had friends that
shouts to Eliza. Thanks, Eliza.
Lost phones and shit like that, and they're like, "Oh, everything's gone."
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yeah, you should have had it backed up, but yeah.
But apparently,
now you can get it from knowing you can get it from them. That's chill.
Apparently, you can just request data from Instagram and probably Facebook too, since they're like the same company.
Since they're the same company, yeah.
I mean, I'm totally speaking out of school, probably, but I mean,
maybe someone will chime in and let us know if we're wrong or right.
Right. Oh man. So let's totally switch gears. I stalked your Instagram last night a little bit.
Nice.
And your Facebook, and your Snapchat. No. But I saw that you went on a 14er hike the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, talk about like what you do to balance out like having like intense creative output, and like I'm sure you're kind of like, are you sort of hunched over when you're working?
I mean, it really, I try to make sure that I have my posture is like pretty dialed in, so I'm not hunched over, because I sit there for so long and so many hours and stuff like that, and for like so many days and things and all that kind of shit. And I know it all adds up and compiles on itself, so I'm trying to like think down the line a little bit. But yeah, as far as like going on that hike the other day, it was great. I'm a pretty early riser, so I'm happy to like get out and like get the day started, and I like to get that kind of stuff out of the way right away.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to be like out there exerting myself, I want to do it before the sun's fully up. Especially this summer, it's been so hot.
It's so hot.
And yeah, it just kind of gets me in the grind for or like in the groove for the rest of the day. Once that's out, and like and then I can just focus on everything else like that. Because when it comes down to it, it's a pretty stagnant profession, you know. Like our studio's at home, so, and I mean, granted that it's not exactly in the house, but we have a separate garage, so. But the manner of walking 15 feet to the garage and then sitting down for the day, it's not a lot of it's not a lot of action.
Yeah.
So I always try and stay active to a certain extent where I can get the blood flowing, and then kind of gets you in a better groove for sitting still and working the rest of the day.
Totally.
Because, like I said, most of the time I'm sitting there stationary looking into a microscope.
Yeah.
And it's like a solid 10, 12 hours a day. So it can definitely take a toll on your body.
Sure. Yeah, I find too that when I like move my body around, it helps my brain, I think, function better.
Yeah. It's kind of I feel like it just kind of helps everything flow a little bit better all around.
Exactly. It's all one system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
body, brain, it's all connected. So you got to keep it all tapped into one another. So you're not one thing is lagging. Otherwise you're going to get fucked.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what do you do? Like, is like hiking part of like the mental health routine too?
It's a combination, I kind of just like to, living in Colorado, there's so much nature at our fingertips. So I'd love to really get out there and tap in a little bit when I can.
Sure.
And I always find myself, like, if I can't, I'm always like making excuses. And
you're like, it's too hot or
yeah,
blah,
exactly.
Blah.
And they're all minimal things that are easy to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to that's why I also like to knock things out first thing in the morning, because if I start to drag it out, I'm just like, oh, I got this to do. I kind of got that to do. I don't got time for this. All in all, then I end up looking at my phone for 45 minutes. Like, I could have done that already.
Right.
But as far as that, I feel like it's pretty important when you're making your own schedule too.
Absolutely.
And your own routine. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know, you can develop bad habits and things like that.
Yeah. What do you do to keep away from like getting sucked into the phone or the social media hole?
The social media hole is it's hard.
Yeah.
Because you have, whether it's like people reaching out with questions, I always like to try and get back to people with as much like topical knowledge as I can give them. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's not always easiest to like respond to everybody.
Right.
But things like that, it just it's tricky. I need to get better at it, honestly.
Yeah.
But I try to kind of manage it. But I find myself like I'll get a bunch of DMs and I'm like, oh, this could be some money. Like this might be some sales. Like,
yeah.
And the way with people on Instagram sometimes these days, it's so impulsive. So say you don't answer this message for another 4 hours. And then
spark's
you get back to them and they're like, oh, well, I spent this money to someone else, or I got this going instead, or now I'm over it.
Right.
And so it's kind of it's tricky.
It's a balance.
It's a balancing act, like anything else, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have it down.
Yeah. I don't think I do either. And it's so new, right? Like we started basically for me really started in 2011, 2012
mm-hmm.
when social media sort of took over, and so I wonder if our brains are even necessarily equipped to deal with that many digital human interactions per day.
It's wild because majority of the time it is wasted energy.
Yeah
It's people that are and I have no problem talking with people,
right,
and telling them pricing, process and things like that. But when it ends up coming down to where they're not willing to put the same energy back in to even respond to you,
I was going to get to that too.
You're like, well, why the fuck am I even giving this the time of the day when
right.
I was I put thought into this response. I put thought into I broke you down all this information.
Right.
And then you just look at it and close your phone. It's like, God
left
damn
it unseen.
Yeah, exactly.
So rude.
Completely getting left unseen. And it's cool. I get it. Everyone's busy.
Right.
But if someone else, if you're going to take the time out of your day to give someone a little bit of your energy, which you only have so much of,
right,
I would hope at least someone is like, cool, thanks. All right, I'm not, that's not for me.
Right,
or, that's it. It's simple as that. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah. Or
but it makes a difference, which is really weird.
Yeah. About tire kickers, people who come through the DMs and they're like, oh, I want this. And you're like, cool, here's the info. I offer payment plans, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, word, I'm going to get paid this weekend. So yeah, I'll hit you up. And then it's, if you dare to check back in with them, I don't really do that so much anymore, but
you got to be honest. Someone, sometimes it makes a sale, and they're like, "Oh right. shit!" Most of the time, I don't know who the fuck is on the other side of this phone.
Totally,
it's a complete veil. I don't know. I don't.
Right.
A, probably don't even know what you look like. B, probably don't even know your real name because it's whatever the fuck at Instagram.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard to kind of weed through the people that are tire kicking or actually serious, because sometimes people are they're busy.
They really are serious and are busy and are waiting for that next paycheck.
Exactly.
And sometimes a little tug at the sleeve is okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You get everything from I get people that are like, I'm on the way to the bank right now. I'm going to deposit this money in your account. You're like, cool. And then like days go by, you're like,
that's a long bank trip.
Oh, how far away? Are you going to a different state? Or like, you got to take a plane? Like, you got to take a flight? Like, what's up?
Is it a Swiss bank? What are we talking about?
And then you message them, and then they just don't even respond.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, it's cool. Like, I'm not trying to harp on you. I'm not trying to nag. But, like, if you're telling me you're going to the bank to put money in my bank account, or you make a sale.
I always wonder if that's like trolling.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get why you would like just say that. Like, it's completely fine to be like, yo, actually, it's not going to work out. It's cool.
Like, and you give them the same response. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a very easygoing person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, chew you out or like berate you for like some stuff like that. Like, life happens. Like,
we get it all the time, Yeah.
And like the stuff that we do, like making art and like jewelry, painting, whatever, it's completely like, no one needs a painting on their wall. No one needs a piece of jewelry on their neck or on their finger or whatever, you know?
Right.
It's completely like added.
Yeah, it's luxury.
Yeah, it's a luxury. Yeah. Exactly. I couldn't think of the right word.
No, I feel you. Like, yeah, it's just something that I think is good to address, because any young artist listening to this will undoubtedly eventually come across situations like that.
You're not alone.
Most
people suck.
Hell yeah, that's a good message for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes, I don't know. I feel like we as artists deal with it a lot more than other people probably do that offer like a certain good or offer like a certain service.
Yeah, like a plumber's not gonna be like, if someone hits up a plumber, they're like, get over here right now.
Like, yo, I got a problem. Like, I need some help.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think very many other professions deal with this.
Like, I've never really thought of it, I guess, to that extent, but it is probably something that's pretty niche to like just like an artist's perspective, is like dealing with a lot of like window shopping and stuff like that, and it's not bad. No, it's great. And and all that being said, I appreciate every single DM I get. Yeah.
That is showing interest or even saying, "Yo, dope work."
Exactly.
Like, it's great. And same for the podcast too. Like, thank you.
Yeah. Something that someone told me a long time ago when I was just getting into this kind of stuff and, putting myself out there and trying to like sell my work to make a living. Mm-hmm. They're like, they kind of made it a point to be like, yo, just respond to those people that are unsure, that just have questions and stuff. Maybe they don't have the money now.
Right.
But they might at some point in their lives, and they'll remember that you took the time out of your day to actually get back to them and be like, this is, this is that. And that goes a long way, you never know what's going to happen in someone else's life, let alone our own lives. So
yeah, sure. And you're kind of building a reputation as just being like the friendly person that you are.
Yeah. Just being personable goes a long way. And especially when, I'm sure we all get a lot of DMs and messages and questions and stuff. And like I said, you can't necessarily answer all of them.
Right.
But hopefully you can answer some people's questions to the extent that those other people can see that.
Right.
And then get some kind of feedback from that.
For sure. Nice. So, I think I've pretty much wrapped up all the questions I wanted to ask for you. But the last one, before we get into our haiku.
I'm stoked.
So what does being artsy AF mean to you?
Being artsy AF, just living and dying by the art, really. Like, I got no fallback plan. Like, I'm just making art and like hoping that people receive it to the point where they want to have it in their lives.
Absolutely.
Regardless of like, this like the level of investment it takes.
Right.
And as I feel like as many other artists out there, like I'm always trying to do new things. Like AJ was saying, he does fucking everything, bro. It's insane.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I just do paint,
got 3
sculpt,
studios.
I'm like, God damn it. I feel people like that make me feel like I'm underachieving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and just being able to switch things up and keep things fresh just goes a long way. Yeah. And the longer you do it and the more years that like are under your belt, it's harder and harder to do new and fresh shit.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's what it comes down to.
You're just
like,
comfortable in your little wheelhouse, you know?
I mean, a lot of people can get comfortable and then I've seen a lot of people kind of plateau and then either they can either keep themselves on that consistent level or ends up falling off. And and they end up like, end up being like a realtor or this or that or whatever the fuck, go back to school for something else and things like that. Like being an artist is hard.
Yeah.
Especially living off of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's insanely difficult. And like I have a lot of people in my life that are like, oh, like it's cool. Like you have your own schedule. You do this and that all for yourself. And I'm like, it's kind of cool. Most of the time it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like having like a set schedule and a regimen where I'm like, I'm going to get a paycheck at the end of the week.
Right.
That also sounds really nice sometimes.
That's a nice comfort for sure.
It's not always, it's hard.
Yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed. And it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You don't know what's around the next corner and you only hope that it's going to be good.
Right. And that's a very accurate picture, man. Yeah. Because part of the reason I started the podcast was sort of to dispel the like mythos around the successful artist that like it's all roses and all like hype Instagram posts. Like
it's mostly thorns.
Yeah, it's mostly thorns with like sometimes you get to smell some roses.
Yeah, exactly.
And take them home. But yeah, so thank you for painting that accurate picture. And now it's time for visionary haiku.
Bust out the box.
So this is Postjaded, right? They make that's the LLC that makes this, and it's a bunch of cool cats that I hope to interview out in Asheville, North Carolina. So thank you guys for creating these. They're hilarious, very tongue-in-cheek. Postjaded, the kind of concept is like, okay, so you go to a festival, your first festival, right? And you're just like, wow. And you're blown away, like we all were when we were 18, 19, whatever. And then there's this kind of like period where you get jaded and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Wooks, whatever.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But then Postjaded is like this, it has more levity and you're sort of like you're able to enjoy it and also make fun of it at the same time. Yeah. So that's what visionary magnets are all about.
It's a happy balance.
Yeah. So let's I'll let you kind of just take a little handful there, and then we'll make ourselves a haiku.
I'll take a bunch.
Yeah, take a bunch. If you need to like break them up or whatever too. I got some over here that are stuck to the top of the lid.
Oh, we're gonna break it down.
Oh yeah. Break it down.
Always got to break it down. Some people don't understand it when it's given to them in full serving.
That's right. Information's so much easier to digest when it's a little compartmentalized,
Yeah, and that's something that I like when people ask me questions about stuff online and shit like that. I always try and make it as straightforward as possible.
Sure.
Because A, I want them to understand it, and B, I don't want them to ask me 1,000 times how to do the same shit.
Totally. Well, yeah. So last week we fucked up, and I think we did 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then 6 syllables. That's what AJ told me like later in the week. I was like, oh, cool.
Smart guy.
So if we did fuck up, I'm not really that sorry because I think it's pretty funny. But, we're going to try and do it right this time is what I'm trying to say. So 5 syllables for the first, 7 for the second line. Do you want to start us off? I got a little pile over here.
With 5?
Well, just start us off with a word, and then we'll count the syllables on our fingers so we don't fuck up this time.
Taco.
Wow. Maybe we should just end it right there.
It's kind of like the fucking icing on top of the cake. I would love a taco.
How about taco
right
seed?
Taco seed.
I think taco seed. So we got 2 syllables left.
Taco seed. Taco seed is 3?
Yeah.
Taco seed. Is taco 1? I don't think taco's only
2.
1.
It's
taco.
2.
All right. Taco's 2. Taco seed. Blossom.
Taco seed blossom. Yeah. Nice. Blossom.
That's 5, right?
That's 5.
Blossom.
Taco seed blossom.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay, I'll start the next line off. Where is it? Here we go. One of my favorite words of the past 2 years.
Lit.
Okay,
so I just have to put the next one down.
Yeah, it kind of has to make sense.
All right, cool. K-hole.
Oh, that's amazing. Lit K-hole. So that's 3.
We need 4 more, my dog.
Yeah, we do. Taco seed blossom. Lit K-hole. How about K-holes? And we save ourselves a syllable there. So
that's still 2.
Let's see. And that's K-holes possessive. So it's not plural. It's like whatever comes next belongs to the K-hole.
Enlightenment.
Oh,
that's good.
Damn.
That's good.
Lit K-holes enlightenment, dude, and it makes sense.
Lit K-holes enlightenment. That's 7, right?
Is it 7? We're checking with Mark. Mark says go. Mark says 7. Dude,
I think this is pretty damn good so far.
We're killing it.
I love it.
So let's see. I'm gonna go with literally. That's too many syllables. Literally. I can't do that. All right. So how about
you could? I got one that could go. I got one that could back it up if you do that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally.
Life.
Okay, let's read it. How can we get this on camera somehow?
Taco seed blossom.
Put it on the magnets, maybe I can zoom.
Oh, okay. We'll do that. We'll do it like
after.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so you read the first line.
Taco seed blossom.
Lit K-holes enlightenment.
Literally life. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. All right, well, Nate, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thanks for inviting me, man. This is fun. I like that.
Hell yeah. And that'll wrap her up. Thanks for sitting through our haiku and for everything else. Please remember to subscribe, follow, rate, tell your friends about it. Maybe buy a t-shirt. And we'll catch you next time.
Follow this guy.
Peace. Oh, yeah, don't forget to hit up Nate for custom jewelry. He's around. He's got grills. I want a grill.
We do it all.
Yeah.
Gold teeth, engagement rings, pendants, whatever. Make a cock ring. Who knows?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Tomato.
You get down like that? Hit my mans up. Peace.